Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, I didn't really want to do a all the books I read this year. I don't know. I just want to switch things up, and also I feel like this year I just wasn't impressed with a lot of the books that I did read this year. So yeah. Oh, um, out of the 81, because I did check how many books I did read. I read 81 books this year, and I wrote down a list of all the books that I did enjoy, and there was 9 books out of 81. That is crazy, but that is the truth. And yeah. So all of these are in order of how I read them this year. Like the first book to the last book I read, they are in order. So yeah, to when I read them in the year. So yeah. And the first book, um, I didn't okay. Let me just say what the book is first, and then we'll talk about it. But the first book that I read this year was Little Rot by, hold on, because this name I don't know. I think it's a Nigerian name because the book is like a Nigerian book. Basically, it's set in Nigeria, but it's, I think how you pronounce their name is Awaki. I don't I don't know. But yeah, I'm just gonna say that. Um, Akwaki Amezi. Um, and the name is spelled so you guys can look them up. It's spelled Akwaeke. Last name Emezi. So yeah. But I'm gonna talk about Little Rot. And I did write a review. I'll if you guys want, well, I can share it with you now. But I'm gonna tell you guys I gave this a 3 star, but that doesn't mean that I didn't like it as much because the rest are like 4 or 5 star. But with the book I was impressed by the book, so that's why I wanted to include it. But the book was not necessarily a favorite of mine. um but I think the story was definitely impactful, and I think it set the tone for the year of me reading, because I don't know, I felt like a lot of books um were the books that I weren't in my all the books that I read. A lot I did DNF a lot of books, and I'm not ashamed of that. And I just was not impressed with the books that I was choosing, honestly, this year. And I feel like past years, like last year, like there were there was a few books that I loved, and it really like changed the way that I read stuff now. Like I read like literary fiction and classics, and I didn't before. The only genre I was reading was romance, and I honestly got burnt out and tired of reading romances. But now I'm like, now I can kind of come back to that now, and I can enjoy it, because a lot of the books were just like, a lot of them were the same stories, or they just had a ridiculous amount of smut in it. And and don't get me wrong, I love a good spicy scene, but when it's every single chapter, i I got sick and tired of it, and I just wanted to stop reading the romances. But I have read a few romances this year, and I really enjoyed them. One that I didn't include in this list but I really did enjoy was Mate. I really liked that book, and I finished reading it last month. I think, was it last month? Yeah. It was either last month or the beginning of this month, but I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember exactly. It was either late November or early December. I can't remember, but yeah. But let me share with you guys the review that I made. I'm pulling it up on my iPad. Hold on. And this year I really wanted to write a lot more reviews, but I don't know. I didn't stick with that. And also it just I didn't want to write a review for every single book because it just wasn't what I wanted to do. But here is my review that I said. I said this book was a bunch of craziness. This was my first time reading something like this. In my eyes, this book is about the dirtiness of people and the nasty things that people do, whether they choose to hide it or not. Also, when we do see these kinds of things, will we do something about it or will we put our heads down? After all that chaos, the ending was pretty tame for what it was. Um, so I'm gonna explain my review. So yeah, so this book was there was a lot of stuff, and one of the characters in the book was like, I don't know, he was kind of like, he was a public figure and he was known like as someone that you don't cross, because if you do, some like bad things will happen if you do. And that's what I was like saying, and there was a lot of like icky feeling, and it made me feel super uncomfortable. But I think that was the kind of purpose of the book, to kind of like say that like the world is icky and the world is uncomfortable, but it's the things that we do and the things that like we have to put our foot down and we have to speak up about things, because if we don't, we're just going to be letting things like this keep on happening. So yeah, but yeah, I was super impressed with the book, but it was like I was just super uncomfortable the whole entire time. For one, because I've never read a book like that, like I said in the review, but also because I I don't think I was ready to hear something like that. But I think it's something that I needed to hear, because I think like we can't stay naive forever. We can't stay in the dark forever. So, and that's some, and kind of like I said in the review, like sometimes we see things and we experience things um that we don't want to. And yeah, and the characters also experience these things and face things and saw things and experienced things that they did not want to at all, but they did. And yeah, but the next one, I thought it was really funny that the next book I read had little also in the title, but I read Little Woman, and I've been trying to read this book for years now, and I finally finished it in the beginning of this year. And I also read a review on it. I wrote a review on it, but I read Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott, and I gave that 5 stars. And the reason why I gave it a 5 was because I just, I don't know, it felt like, because I already watched the movie before many times, I just felt like there was so much more to this story, even though it's basically they kept a lot of it the same. um in the movie, it felt a little bit more close. I felt a little bit more closeness to the characters and stuff um, than in the movie, but I still felt those same emotions that I did from the book to the movie to the movie to the book, if that makes any sense. But yes, so I'm gonna read the review for you guys because I also wrote a review for this. But I said it took me a while to finally read this book, like I just said. I watched the movie when I was younger and it was my favorite film of all time. It still is, but I now have different favorite movies of all time. But let's get on with the review. So I was scared that I wouldn't like it as much as the movie, or make me think differently about the movie in a bad way, because this has happened before with the book to movie adaptations. Yes, that is the case. A lot of times I just didn't feel the same way about the movie or the story because of the book. Um, because I read the book after I saw the movie already. But yeah, okay. But I loved it even more so. It gave me the same feelings and emotions. I love seeing the in between moments that they didn't show in the movie. Also, it made me. Huh? I don't know what this last sentence was trying to say, but I think I was trying to say that it made me think about how, like, when someone is making a movie from a book, like book to movie adaptations, it made me think about how they chose about what to keep and leave out from the movies. So yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. I don't know because I think I think I skipped something in the middle of a sentence, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, the book really made me just enjoy the movie a lot more. And I love them. I so love the movie so much. But I think I like the book more than the movie now. If that makes That's actually pretty crazy, but I love the book more. And I think I want to read it again. I think it'll be really fun. But yeah. The next book I read was Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I gave that book a 4 stars. And the reason why I didn't give it a 5, even though I enjoyed that book so much, was because um I actually don't remember, but there was something that just was not, I guess. Like, I guess it just wasn't 5 star material, but it was definitely a book that I definitely enjoyed, I guess. But now looking at it, I would definitely give it a 5. I don't know why I didn't give it a 5. I don't know, um but that just makes me want to read it again. So, yeah, to find out if the second time I read it, I will give it a 5 star. But yeah, so I did write something for this book. Because now I'm on my Goodreads. So I'm just like, it's just here. But and granted, this is literally the fourth book I read in the year. So yeah. But I said, OMG, I loved this book. Everything about this book was so good. Death was so hot, and Signa and Death had so much chemistry. The plot twist in this book is so crazy. Definitely reading the next book. So at this time, I don't know. At this time, I think I would have given it a 5, but I don't know why I didn't give it a 5. I don't know. But yeah. And then the next book, oh, hold on, I'm gonna see. Okay, so I don't think I wrote any more reviews at this point. But anyway, so the next book I read was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I gave that book a 4 star, and I really enjoyed this book. I don't know, I just thought it was just a fun, honestly, this is just a fun read. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that I enjoyed the other books. Honestly, I gave the other books 3 star. I don't think I would have gave the rest of the books 3 star. I think after the first book, everything just goes downhill, and I just didn't like the other books. But yeah, I just really did not like the other books, but I did like Fourth Wing. I thought it was just a fun read, and yeah, because I feel like after a while, all the characters become whiny and complacent, and also, what's her name? Violet, I think. She has no character growth in the other books at all, and it's just crazy. How are you how does she not change at all? I think there's 3 books. Yeah. Like seriously, how does she not change at all? She still is the same person that she started out with. But obviously she's gone through a lot, so I feel like she would have changed a lot, but she hasn't. She's still, in my eyes, she's still the same person we started out with. Yeah. Honestly, and also I don't I don't after the first book, I don't like Satan. I don't like him. I don't know. But yeah. Don't hate me, okay? Don't hate me. Okay, so the next book I read was Piranesi, and that is by Susanna Clark. And I gave that a 4 stars. And I really enjoyed this book. I feel like there was something that was missing in the book that would have made me give it a 5 stars. And yeah, because I feel like there was some dull points. It was not a boring book, but it did feel a little bit dull some of the times that I was reading it. But I still really enjoyed it. um and yeah, I thought that the characters and the kind of things that was in the book, I really enjoyed how that went. Um, and at some points, it was a little bit confusing to keep up with the main character, a little bit because I think he's supposed to be an unreliable narrator. So I think that is why it was a little bit confusing to keep up with him. So yeah, but I still really enjoyed this book. But yeah. The next book, ooh, this one was a fun book. The next one we have is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears, and I gave that book a 5 stars. And oh my gosh, this girl had such a fun, interesting life, but she also had a sad life. And yeah, and I just there is stuff that I was literally a child when all this stuff was happening, so I didn't understand a lot of the stuff. I didn't know what a conservatorship was. But I knew that was happening. I didn't understand or didn't know what that was. And now like reading the book and seeing like having your whole entire life ripped away from you for years and years and years is so sad. And yeah, I just feel for her because that's just so terrible, so terrible. But yeah, I really enjoyed just seeing seeing her be herself throughout and holding on so strong after, it's just so beautiful to see. But yeah, because I was like at the time, like it was like Free Britney. I was like, I don't understand what this is, but okay. I don't know. Like I truly did not understand like what a conservatorship was. I know what that is now reading the book. But yeah. And like it just also makes me mad for her because I was just like, how is your family taking all your money? And then their family is making it seem like she's a danger to herself and her and others. Like, no. It's so crazy to see how all of this came about. But yeah, it was just such a fun read, and I so I so love her even more. And like after I read the book, I was just like on a Britney kick. I was listening to all of her songs. So yeah. And then ooh, this one I really liked too. Um so I read Call Me by Your Name by Andre Asiman, and I gave this a 4 stars. Um okay, so this one was just so beautiful. I loved this whole entire book. And this one I did give a review for, so I will say it. But it's just like it was just a line and I kind of wrote it in my own words, I think. But yeah, it was just so beautiful, and I loved the way that it was written, and I just like, and it I was just like so I was so enamored by this book. I really loved it. But yeah, I think this is a line from the thing, but I did write it in my own words, but I'm not completely sure. I don't remember. But yeah, hold on, let me see. Oh, here we go. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a line from it, or I did get it from the book, but I wrote it in my own words. I'm not sure, but yeah. I think I did write it in my own words. But anyway, so it says, when we finally get together, it's not as expected. The images I had of you in the images I had of you is completely distorted. When you look mad at me, you are actually longing for me. After this is all over, this will change me or ruin me forever is a perfect line. You are the love of my life, but now I must forget. Like, what? This book was just so beautiful. Like, that's all I have to say about that. And honestly, this book was just like, there is a second book. I This is like what I don't like. Like, I don't think this book needs a second book. I don't want to read that for that exact reason. This book is perfect the way it is. I don't want a continuation. I feel like for some books there's no need to continue. There's no need to continue. It's perfect as it is. And yeah, like that's how I also feel. I did read this book um but because I was excited to see the continuation, because like the story, it left on a cliffhanger, so I was like, okay, I want to read the second book. But I felt like it could have been explained. It could have ended. It could have been explained and ended in the first book, like condensed into the first book. But One Dark Window, I did not like Two Twisted Crowns that much. It was a good read, but I felt like they could have put and ended it. They could have added this stuff and ended it in the first book. I don't think it needed to be continued the way that it was, but I'm just gonna say I like the first book a lot more. But yeah, sorry. Sorry, guys. But I do love, love, love One Dark Window, though. But let's continue to the video because I can't get distracted. But yeah, just I'm gonna keep saying that Call Me by Your Name is just such a beautiful book. I did not watch the movie. I don't think I don't know if I want to watch the movie. I don't know. I just don't feel like watching it. But maybe one day, but for right now, I don't want to watch the movie. Not because I think it will ruin the book for me, but just because I just like it the way it is. And I don't want to watch the movie. So, yeah, I don't, you know, sometimes like you don't have to watch the adaptation. You don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, the next one I have for you is The Long Island Compromise by Taffy Brodesser Akner, and I gave that a 4 stars. And yeah, I have notes on it, I think, somewhere. I think I wrote them in my I wrote notes about all the characters and stuff so I wouldn't forget, but also because I just like thought that it was just a beautiful book, and this is a book that I'm going to reread in the new year. Hold on, let me see. It's in here somewhere. But yeah, it doesn't matter. But I just really loved this book, and this is a book about a family that is rich, but everything just starts to go downhill, and they have to figure out how to manage. They have to figure out how to manage and to kind of, because they just grew. They have a lot of trauma, so because their father was kidnapped and put up for ransom. So they have a lot of trauma from that. So they have to kind of figure out how to move on and how to be their own people from that. And the whole entire family struggles with that completely, and they have to figure out how to move on from that. But I really really liked it. They're like Piranesi. Long Island Compromise does have some dull moments, but it goes from dull to entertaining, dull to entertaining, dull to entertaining. So there was like some competitiveness to like, do I really want to continue or, but I was just like there was so many moments where I was just like, do I want to continue this book or not? But like every single time I wanted to put this book down, there would be an entertainment moment. Um, there would be not entertainment. There would be an interesting moment, and I just wanted to continue. So yeah, like, but I just really really liked it so much. If I can find, hold on, I don't remember where I put the notes in here, but they're in here somewhere. Oh, is it this? Oh yeah, literally. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says Long Island Compromise, and yeah. And I literally have all of the notes from, literally you can front to back, like all the notes I took on like all of the characters. And yeah, and I'm just gonna read to you some of I'm gonna try to find things that I thought were interesting. But yeah. Okay, so this is This thought is about Beamer. So, yeah, this is what I said. I said, I feel like Beamer is so traumatized by his father getting kidnapped that he can't get a normal relationship with himself, his wife, his kids, friends, family, and his work. Because he can't, just like I said, he's so traumatized by this event that he can't mentally move on from anything, and he can't have the relationships with anyone he wants to because he's so stuck. And like everyone in this family is so stuck, and they can't move on from any of it. So yeah, it's super crazy. But yeah, and yeah, so here I said he's so attached and obsessed with writing the screenplay about this kidnapping, and his one hit when he was young with his friend Charlie. And I said, this is all about Beamer right now. So, and another thing that I wrote down was his vices and addictions causes to lose control of himself. And yeah, and this is the point. It says right here, it says, this is the point where right now I am at the point where the family loses their money, and Beamer, this might be a spoiler, but loses their money, and Beamer goes into some type of psychosis, and and I don't know, I think that says message. Missing his phone calls and whatnot. Yeah, it at this time, like, he's like missing his phone calls, like his wife, I think, yeah, his wife is like calling him because he because they were gonna go see their daughter's dance recital, something like that, and he was just like over there, and then he went to this guy, I can't remember who it was, but he literally went to his house and was like, okay, I want this story, like it needs to be done. And he goes to this guy's house, like this famous guy's house, and the famous guy is like, okay, like this guy is clearly dealing with something. I'm gonna call. He either called the cops or he called the hospital, like, because they were like, this guy is literally going through something, and because he passes out, and then he passes out. So yeah, and then he like wakes up, and yeah, like he was going through it. And then yeah, and then these are opinions about, I didn't write any really comments about Carl because they didn't really talk about Carl that much. But here are some things about the mom. So this is an opinion. So I said, nobody ever considered how everything that happened with her husband altered, I mean, not altered, this says affected her, with her husband affected her. No one asked her about how she was doing or how it was like to take care of her children and being pregnant with a child she didn't want. Would it have been easier if he died in his kidnapping rather than being lost forever because he was not in his right mind after coming back from his kidnapping? Um and then I did write something about Carl though, but I said, even though he returned from his kidnapping, he never really ever returned. There and I said, their circumstances that were given is the way, uh I don't know what this word says. I can't read sometimes I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. I don't know what this word says. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. And then like also the girl, I forgot, the sister, I don't know, I can't remember. I think it's I think we're at where Jenny. I think her name was Jenny, but yeah, she was just having problems with her purpose in life. Oh yeah. It says yeah, she was just having so much issues with having her purpose in life. She's just so focused on something and then also just like her her issues with, is this all she's ever gonna be if she just focuses on this one thing that she thinks is giving her purpose? But yeah, and she questions if being a rich girl is all she'll ever be. But yeah, and there's just so much going on in this story, but it was just so fun and so interesting, and I love it. I want to reread it, take more notes. I want to take more notes. I want to annotate it because I listened to it. So I really just want to annotate everything and make so much more notes. And yeah, I just want to take everything all in. And yeah, and what's crazy is I was reading, I think either before or after, I don't remember, but before or after, I think it was before I read Intermezzo before Long Island Compromise. Yeah. And I was like, this book is really good, but um yeah, and then a few months or a few weeks or a few months, I still don't remember. I don't remember anything that happened to that book. Like, I don't remember anything. All I remember was that, like, the two brothers in the story, like, where their whole lives, like, they were one thing, and then I think, yeah, their father dies, and everything now has switched for them. Now, because one, okay, at the beginning, like, one brother was like very popular, very outgoing, blah blah blah, and the other was kind of reclusive and like just different from them, and then everything just goes flipped, and now he's the one who's succeeding and and outgoing, and he is the one who is having anxiety and feeling isolated and alone, and he has to deal with that. But yeah, but that's all I can remember. So I really just want to, I also really want to reread it next year because I don't remember anything. And maybe I'll take a little bit more notes because I can't remember anything that happens. I really want to take more notes when I read stuff because that will just help me remember things that I want to remember, and also just like keep track of what I'm reading. So, yeah. So, the last book that I'm going to be talking about today is the book It. And this is a book that I have already read, but this was a reread and this was a summer read. I think it's such a perfect book to read in the summer because it takes place in the summer, and I don't know how like the time period. I think this takes place the time period, I think it takes place in like a week, or I think it takes place, no, I think it takes place in the whole entire summer, but I don't know. Or it's either this takes place in a month, a week, a month, or the whole summer. I don't actually know like the time span of like when everything happens, but I think maybe it's a week because I feel like everything just happened so fast. Like everything was just happening every single day in the week. But I don't know if it was like a week, a month, or a whole summer. That's what I don't know. Um, because also in the book, because obviously the book is and the movie is not in two parts. The book is in one whole. So you're getting them as kids and then you're flipping back to them as adults. So it's just like it's a little bit to keep up with because it's not in two parts where one of the parts they were children and then the other part they were adults. So you really have to keep track of like everything. But it is by Stephen King, and I gave that book again 5 stars, which is crazy that I gave up the second time that I read this book another 5 star. And yeah, I read this in the span of the summer. It took me a while to read, but I did read it. I finished it in the beginning of September, I think. Yeah, it was like very very end of August, because I think I finished it August 31st, I think. So it was very very end of September. I mean, not September, very end of August, beginning of September, because I think I finished it August 31st. And then yeah, because I remember, because I was going somewhere and I was trying to finish it on my road trip, because I wanted to start reading um I wanted to start reading The Night in the Moth. So yeah, I think I remember. So yeah, I was reading The Night in the Moth, and I was reading a book that I really didn't like, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I really did not like that book. But yeah, so those are the two. And yeah, crazy crazy book. But yeah, so I'm just gonna explain why I like that book so much. So the first reason, I just love their friendship so much, and how they and like how they stick together is so cool and so beautiful, because I don't think friend well I don't, because like a lot of the books that I have seen, like that are about like tight knit friendships, aren't like this. And yeah, like they just like they would literally die for each other. That's how strong their friendship is. And even also, I think, like, also when they were kids, like they literally were just all meeting together. Like some of them didn't even know each other. They were meeting each other for the first time. So just imagine how tight and strong their friendship is, for them to have the friendship that they did. And all of them are super super different and conflict with each other multiple times, but they always stick together. And I think it is because, for one, I think it's because Bill, well, Bill is one of my favorite characters, but also Ben, and Bill, Ben, and Richie are my favorite characters in the the book, because they Bill is the leader, and it's super super clear that he just has a quality about him that is just like leader. And it wasn't because I don't know how old they were at the time. I think they were like 11 or 12 or something like that. But they they were just, it wasn't about like who's the oldest or whatever. He just was a leader. And yeah, like it was just like it was just, he just had that in him. And yeah, and there was things that I just like that book. And also, I feel like it also has the quality of the what is it called again? Amnesia. Yeah, like I feel like that book really does like have that amnesic quality to it, because sometimes, like literally, I was reading the book and I was just like slowly starting to forget little things about the book. And yeah, like literally, like days after I finished reading the book, I was just like noticing that I was just starting to forget little things about the book. And also, and the first time that I read it, I literally forgot everything. So that book does have a little bit of that quality in it. And I like literally, it says that like literally after everything happens, they forget everything that happened and they forget each other. So for like that to have that kind of thing, I don't know if that was just me or if that happened to other people. Comment down below if that has happened to you reading that book. But that's just like really funny and really weird. I don't know if that's like just me or what. But yeah, I would just like slowly forget things about the book and things that would happen. And yeah, that's crazy. But yeah. Unfortunately, um I will not be, because I did start watching the movie like a while ago, years ago, but then I had to stop. So unfortunately, I will never be watching the movie, both parts, because it's too scary. It's too scary for me, okay? The book is not that scary. There is like some jump scares or some things like are just like disturbing or just like very just like ugh. Like you just get like it's just like uncomfortableness. Um but it's not that scary. The book. I'm talking about the book. I haven't I'm not like a huge horror person or anything like that, so I don't even like stuff like that. But to me, this I really I really like I really just like that book. Like I can't say anything about anything else about that book or else. I just like that book. Like it was just honestly just such a fun read. Um but yeah. Those were all of the books that I really just enjoyed this year. If you guys like this video, please like, and if you guys want to continue to see my face, my videos, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post another video. And yeah, also this is one thing that I want to hear from you guys is um what was your favorite read of the year? If you have a few, just write all of them down. But yeah, and put like and why you like that book. Um, post a rating. Like I want to know everything. But um also I had something else I wanted to say. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh yeah. So, guys, we're so close to hitting 50 subscribers. So, I'm so excited about that. So, yeah. We're so close. If I can hit 50 by the end of the year, I would be so freaking happy and so proud. So yeah. So, you guys know what to do. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.